Surprise.
It's us.
We're just. It's nearly 6 o'clock. It's the end of the season. It's like it's not Mad Monday because we're not fools. But
does anybody do Mad Monday?
I'm sure they must do. Let me move the microphone. I'll move it here so it's nearer to you, Phil.
Nearer to the gift.
Oh yes. So welcome to 4020 Live. Last live one of the season because there's nothing else left to talk about, and you've got better things to do on your Monday, like watch University Challenge. Warm up for you.
8:30.
Warm up for it with watching Look North or your local TV news programme. See if they mention rugby league or something. So what these have come from who?
This is from
More biscuits. Broncos, London Broncos.
With compliments, the London Broncos fan group, which is interesting because obviously Tim Tams are an Australian biscuit.
Are.
So is that direct from Darren, do you think?
I don't know. Well, let's hope so. If you want to invest in the podcast, it's cheap.
Whoever has sent it, we are very grateful.
Someone was handing them out at Headingley last week because my nephew got a Tim Tam, and he's been careful about what he eats these days because he wants to be an athlete. I don't snapped up the whole packet, obviously, but thank you very much, London Broncos fan group, for the Tim Tams. I think on the Christmas special we'll do a rating of biscuits. I think we'll have to do
what the year in biscuits.
We'll get a.
Have you got a list of everything we've had?
We'll get a packet of those. Is it Family Circle biscuits?
Oh,
the
yeah.
traditional Christmas, and we'll rate them.
Are they the ones with party rings in?
They might be. So we'll do that as a kind of that'll be our clickbait. You won't believe what's the fifth best biscuit.
The top 5.
Top 5 biscuits. Jake Connor's still here. Can't get rid of him. We could have drawn a face on the back of him because it's empty. So we could draw something on the back of that. But...
He was taking his head off.
Yeah.
In his England shirt that he never got.
Leeds' finest. Is there any news this week, by the way?
Some people have moved, some people have...
There's news, but I can't tell you about it, but stay tuned for more news. It's good news. It's exciting news. Yeah, Kelsey Jannels has got a Wigan. Can't believe it. Which is funny on many various levels.
Tom Whitehead signed for Hull KR.
So that's another young Warrington player.
Warringtonian.
York have signed loads of people because they get an email about every 5 hours.
Yeah.
As
I can
Oldham
never remember when the embargo is though. Oldham have changed their coach.
Yes, Sean Long's gone. And is it Mike Ford's going to be director of rugby or something? And then
by mutual consent.
Was he coach at Bramley, Mike Ford? Or did he just play for him at the end?
So. I hope so.
With Scully. Maybe that's going to be the next Oldham coach. I don't know. I've been at Wakefield today to see all their exciting new players. The new kit looks a lot better in real life on rugby players. Some of which weren't wearing many clothes today, so what an afternoon.
Have you caught them on
no,
your video
I don't think so. Hopefully not.
There's clickbait there.
Well, yeah. Who's the longest in the shower and all that stuff. But no, I didn't do that, sadly. And I didn't learn anything from Wakefield. But you can watch the interviews later in the week. I think I did them. You can go back and watch the video from the Heritage Key Pioneers Running Rugby League exhibition. Thanks to David and Julia there, who were very good with their time and knowledge and everything. Lots of stuff to look at there. Didn't even put in those cards.
The government like rugby league.
Oh, do they? What have they done now?
Well, Lisa Nandy has helped front a new offload programme for Wigan and Wakefield.
Oh, wow. I must have missed that bit.
Yeah, £330,000.
Oh.
So that's happening.
No wonder I've seen... was it Keith Senior was at Wakefield last week?
Yes, he's running the programme.
There you go. And Tara Moxon, former Wakefield star, before she moved to York. Kelsey Jannels has gone to Wigan. So he left York, went to Huddersfield, played a game, and gone to Wigan.
Yeah, well, it was on the way. She was homesick.
Homesick for Castleford. Yeah. Or Leeds, or wherever she's from. I should know.
The World Cup draws should be on the 23rd of November.
Should be.
Well, apparently it's going to tie in with Channel 7 owning the rights.
Oh, right.
They've got the rights to the Test cricket.
Yes.
So the plan at the moment is that the draw will be made during the lunch interval of one of the days of the first test.
Does that mean I have to watch TNT? I'm not watching. I'm not buying TNT.
Is it on Sky?
No, it's on TNT.
What, the cricket?
Yeah. So I'll have to listen to...
That's the end of cricket then.
I know, I'll have to listen to a Test match special, but turn it off when the people I don't like are on. I was very in favour... Ben Stokes, of course, is rugby league royalty.
Yes.
So I was very in favour of him not wanting to listen to ex-players who he didn't agree with. which is his prerogative. He's had quite a good run as England captain, and he won a Test match almost single-handedly. So I'd rather listen to him than, I don't know, some Sheffield Wednesday fans. But that's cricket and not rugby league.
The NRL are talking about fewer games in the season.
More teams, fewer games.
Whilst we're going to have a slight delay on our season coming out because we can't decide whether we do or we don't want a magic weekend and what we're going to call it if it isn't a loop fixture, and obviously are we going to have an international weekend, are we going to have 6, 8, 12, 54 teams in the playoffs?
So I was at Wakefield this afternoon. It was their first day of pre-season training. They're not the only ones that have started, of course.
Oh gosh, no, they're 2 weeks behind, yeah. Catalan and Hull.
And we don't know what the season's going to look like yet.
Well, we sort of got an idea. Teams are going to play each other, and it's going to start on a certain date, and it's going to end on a certain date. But
the bit in the middle.
We know when the Challenge Cup final is.
That's true. They announced it twice. The
big news and the good news, World Club Challenge is sold out already.
Yes.
Hats off to Hull KR.
I'm going to have to be nice to Hull KR now to see if we can sneak in for that. But that scarcity of value of scarcity?
I think
we've never seen it before.
I think it's partly to do with the fact that you've got the right event, that the World Club Challenge is meaningful, and obviously if you put it in the calendar early enough, people will want to go and see it. I think it's the right opposition. Of course, Rees will be back with his mates, and we've just seen him, and we were imbued by what we saw, and he's so charismatic, and I think people on that side of the country that maybe didn't get to see an Ashes Test live want to see him and Pat Carrigan and Adam Reynolds and all the other Brisbane stars. So I think, right event, right team, announced early enough in advance for people to say, Thursday night in Hull, we can stay in the city even though it's at the stadium of our rivals. Interesting, it's going to set a new ground capacity record, and it isn't going to be a Hull FC game, it's going to be Hull KR, which is, again, I think full credit to the way Hull KR have marketed it, that if you've got the right event, the right team, the right marketing, the right date, pretty well on the way to staging a sellout. And if we are going to look at the season, albeit in no form of depth whatsoever,
I can't remember half of it,
then it has to centre around Hull KR.
Yeah.
And I think that the whole of 2025, the metrics are up, but the one big thing that the men's competition needed more than anything else was a new name on the Super League trophy, and in its 30th year it got it.
I can't wait for all the stuff that's going to be flashing back to that Hull KR Queensland game, because that sounds like it was violent.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
So I'm looking forward to all that stuff that's going to be brought back in.
Mark Broadhurst, who was a big Kiwi prop that hated Australians anyway, decided he would be a one-man wrecking ball and went about laying waste to as many of the Queensland forwards as he could.
The World Club Challenge, it's sold out. It's going to be on telly. I hope they can get it onto the BBC as well. I know it's a Thursday night, so it's an odd day, but it'd be good if they could, because they did with the Wigan Penrith one a couple of years ago.
I think it's also an indication that the NRL and RFL are working close together. Now, where that actually leads us, nobody's 100% sure, but it's an indication that if we do speak the same language and want the same things out of the game, it's amazing what you can achieve. That Brisbane committed early to it. They said it was a meaningful part of their season, and they wanted to be here rather than held out for like Penrith. If we're going to play that time in the season, you've really got to come to us. So no, I think it's fabulous. It's already something to look forward to for the start of next year.
Did Qatar really bid for it, do we think?
I think they probably would have done. What they bid and the likelihood of us ever going there. But what you would say is that is another indication that perhaps we're a little bit more of global interest than we think sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, I mean, as you say, the metrics are up, which is all down to who's taking the credit for the metrics.
I don't know who is taking credit, but it should be IMG.
No, they're rubbish. Because you see, they're involved in the World Cup, aren't they? So people have said, "Oh, they're going to grade the winners."
No, they're involved in selling the rights to the world,
which is like one of the things they're good at.
And I think there will be new international rankings out this week, which will determine the group stages of the World Cup. So things are happening.
But Sean Wayne's still in charge. There's no knee-jerk reaction. Why are people still talking about taking games away from Wembley when it was the biggest crowd? And it's got the best transport links. And
it's the National Stadium. As far as I know, it is the National Stadium.
There's stuff around it, which there didn't used to be in the olden days.
No. You won't remember when it was the Twin Towers in the middle of an industrial estate.
My first final was 93. I missed the red card. I had no idea what was going on. but I was there for a Fires try the year after. And I have to say, despite obviously being a Wakefield supporter, I may have stopped off at Leicester Forest on our school trip and got Leeds scarves and flags. Wow. But obviously they were knockoff ones, so nobody went back to the club. So, did my bit there, but obviously disappointed. Now, whether I supported Bradford when I went in 96 or 7, don't really want to say. Wembley atmosphere was awful, says LG. Well, unfortunately, the team didn't really do anything for them.
I think part of the reason it was awful, I don't think it was awful. I think there was a big weight of expectation at the beginning, and the game never lived up to getting the crowd desperately involved. So I can see why you would say the atmosphere was poor, but I think the responsibility for that perhaps lies with the England performance.
It is, unfortunately, actually iconic. So
no, and I think I saw some figures yesterday about the NFL who've now finished their international programme of games, and I think the highest attendance they got was at Wembley.
Now, would you take a test against New Zealand there? I don't think we'd.
No, I'd take it to the first one to Hill Dickinson, because I think we should establish a definite relationship with that venue. I think it's one of the best in the north of England, and it's a capacity that you could sell out against the Kiwis. Give the series a real boost.
Hull, because they had some Kiwis in the 80s, and Leeds, because it's Leeds.
Hull possibly more because Hull KR's fans at the moment are very supportive of things that are going on in Hull, and it is a centrepiece of the sport. And yeah, let's get the World Cup played, and then
worry about 2027, because there's if we'd have sat here last year at this time and someone had come in and said, well, you never guess what's going to happen halfway through the year is there's going to be a coup, and James Charlie, he's going to be on the programme, he's going to be on the board for a bit, so he's not on the programme, but then he's going to be off the board, and then he's going to be back, and we're going to upset everyone. But that happened, but the great thing is we can concentrate today mainly on things that happened on the field. And as you say, 2025, look at this, it's like an introductory piece, is and will be forever the year of the Robin, because the men's team won the Challenge Cup, the League Leaders Shield, and the Grand Final. They won everything available to them. Didn't win Man of Steel, though.
It's the year of the treble, apart from York, although they got 2/3 of the way there. No, the Halifax wheelchair treble. Obviously, the Wigan women treble.
Quadruple.
If you include the nines.
Do include the nines.
York duple.
I didn't know what the other double.
No, I just said it was so nearly
the duple.
A devil.
Duple. I'm sure she's on the radio. I've heard her.
A double treble.
Yeah.
So yes, I think a lot to celebrate.
Hull KR, the first new champions in a long time. Play rugby that's entertaining.
They can play it tough.
Everyone likes Willie Peters.
Good guy.
Gerard Warrior-Hargreaves came over and added some extra grunts. Well, I think didn't get banned until the end, and then he wasn't banned.
More than anything, they bought people like him and Mickey Mack in because they wanted winners at training every day. You know, what do you need to do to be a winner, and who do you need to follow? And in Elliot Minchella, they already had a skipper that says and does all the right things. In Mikey, they obviously had a potential superstar who I think this year has certainly enhanced his reputation domestically, and they had a good balance. They had people that they could bring in when they had injuries that meant that their squad was full of depth. Tanganoa obviously didn't play every week, but when he came off the bench, particularly early in the season, was fantastic. Jai Whitbread, you could start him in the front row if you needed to, and he didn't let anybody down. They bought Jack Broadbent, and again, they needed him. You know, Arthur Morg they bought partway through the season, had a fantastic end to the season. So their recruitment was great. I think they're losing in the grand final a year before they actually used in the correct way. You know, that's going to fuel us for whatever it is we're gonna do. That they showed with you going to Amsterdam that even though it wasn't the full first team, that they did it properly. They marketed it well. Took Warrea Hargreaves over to say and do the right things with the fans. They'd go into Vegas. I think they're probably the most progressive club we've got at the moment, and they got their due reward.
By far, is it fair to say by far the best team? Yeah, they had Son at the League Leaders Shield pretty much, but just
they
stumbled
a bit at the end.
But
I think that goes back to something else that I was going to say, that we've got a lot of things right this year in terms of the metrics. More viewers, more digital followers. The attendances have gone up at games. It's over 10,000 average for Super League, which hasn't happened for quite a while. I think all of that is good. One thing that it does strike you when you look back on the season and Hull KR's wobble at the end of it, it's just because the season is too long. And we've already talked about, you've been to a club today that's back in pre-season. It's like, can you think back to when Wigan played Lee in the first game of the season?
1-0.
Which was the most wonderful start to the season. But unfortunately, it just seems so long ago.
Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
That wedding.
But it just, ridiculous, isn't it?
I did sit there today and think, the season's only just finished. Why are we starting again? I know why we're starting again. They're playing on Boxing Day.
Well, yes, and there's testimonials now and friendly. Is it Bradford have announced a friendly in the middle of January? So yeah,
I think there might accidentally be one of the players they announce a friendly Wakefield have got in January, but I don't know about that. But that's not that it matters. The only good thing is it's not against Huddersfield, because it's always against Huddersfield. But
and players who have testimonials absolutely deserve matches. But I think just thinking back on the 2025 year, we'll miss some stuff because it's so long.
I'd almost forgotten about that 1-0.
That's how it all begun.
An utterly enthralling game of rugby league that ended with 1 point.
In Golden Point extra time. So actually it was our first Super League 0-0 after 80 minutes. Which was the intensity of that game, considering it was the first competitive match of the season, was absolutely unbelievable.
We're not going to grade teams out of 10.
And we're not going to remember all of the big moments.
But Hull KR, obviously, they are the stars of 2025, and deservedly so. And hopefully the World Club Challenge matches on the field, which should be difficult because it's going to be early in the season for Hull KR and before the season starts for Brisbane. But they know how to put on a show, so it's going to be great. And it's another great... Brisbane do have that cachet.
They've got personalities playing for them. I think the other thing that sort of strikes you about this year and perhaps things that we did well were two teams I think that that stood out outside of Hull KR. I think Lee didn't get enough credit for finishing third. Nope. Their highest ever finish in Super League. And again, they've turned their game days into real occasions. And they're getting between 7,000 or 8,000 people on average, which unheard of 2 or 3 years ago. So I think Lee's progress under Adrian Lamb probably didn't quite get the credit that it deserved. And the other one was Wakefield, who I think, again, coming up from the division below to make the playoffs and already have recruited in a manner that says this is just the beginning, it's not our ceiling of achievement. I think that was... They're the two, I don't want to spend any time talking about Catalan and Warrington and St Helens. I think we should just fate the teams that probably, deserve us to, live long in the memory of 2025.
In the spirit of glasnost and everything, I have to say, one of the smartest things that Mr. Bowman has done at Lee, he's brought the fireworks in-house. Yeah. He owns the company. He can lease them out to other clubs and the Rugby Football League if they need them. That's smart business. Yeah. That's smart business. Yeah. Needs to sort his TV out for the women's game, but that's smart. That's smart. Lee are going places. Wakefield are hopefully going places.
And Wakefield's ground was a pleasure to go to. I mean, I think, obviously the previous year, you'd got a really good sense of what it was going to be like. But the Leeds game that they won with a late drop goal, a sellout crowd, fantastic night of drama.
Me and Graham Colley enjoyed that last minute drop goal. We enjoyed that.
But it didn't matter who you supported that night. You just went, this is Wakefield in the big league. This is what they can be. This is why they're an asset to the competition.
See what happens when the Western Terrace gets done. I mentioned to Tyson Smoothie in passing because Wally Lewis, also a former Queensland player. I kind of went off on a tangent, so I didn't really get to mention that bit properly. But you can't imagine what Bellevue would have... Well, you can imagine what it would have looked like in 1984 when he played there, because it's almost completely different now. I think the stand was still over on the other side. They haven't knocked it down yet, because that came after Bradford. But they've got a club shop. But they're going to have a cafe open soon.
It was just a pleasure to go there during this year, and it's going to get better. So I think in terms of Super League, that was great. The Championship, we had 3 or 4 clubs vying to be top dog. York's run of, was it 20 games?
Something ridiculous,
astonishing.
In league and cup,
which obviously, led them to being part of Super League next year. Toulouse nicking the grand final, again, led to them being in Super League. Bradford were consistent throughout. That led to them being in Super League, and then there were a couple of teams underneath that were always challenging them. Featherstone, you couldn't. There wasn't the consistency there, but you knew that if you got them on the wrong day, that they were going to knock you off. So I think the Championship most weeks had, I think was a, what would you call it? It was just entertaining. I hate using the word traditional rugby. It's pure rugby. It's like no, it's
not this super great.
It's just it's part-time rugby at its best.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We need all these different facets. Not everyone can be a professional club with a turnover of millions of pounds that they spend on.
And they've got to be big in their community. The League One season was diminished by announcing that there wouldn't be a League One before the end of the season. I think the women's game is nothing that we haven't always talked about. That the good teams are good. This year it's Wigan, and they were very good. And there's still a disparity between the good and the not so good. Wheelchair didn't seem to have the same impact this year during the regular season, but the finals were good. The Ashes Tour has been good. And I think the other thing that has been a resounding success this year has been the international game. I think the interest that there's been in terms of people in the grounds, the passion that there's been for putting the international game back on a pedestal, the number of nations that are playing regularly, the fact that there have been African championships and World Series for women to qualify for a World Cup, I think all of that has been sensational.
Trying to remember all the things I've got to remember in my head. S4C showing those 2 Wales women's games was brilliant coverage.
And great about that, because they weren't... They were for world ranking points, but they weren't World Cup qualifiers or it wasn't a European Championship or anything. It was just because it was the national team they wanted to feature it.
Last time we saw England play. The less about Vegas, the better. Vegas is an event.
No, I think Vegas worked. I think the main criteria for Vegas, particularly for the Australians, was would a lot of English fans go and support the event, and they did. They absolutely did. In terms of the results of the England women and probably the Super League game, you would have said, yeah, again, hats off to Wigan, but wasn't as competitive as we would have liked. But I think being part of something that can get 45,000 fans to a foreign stadium is, again, it just shows what is possible when we work together.
And still, none of the women have been picked up by Strictly Come Dancing. It's a disgrace. The BBC obviously massively biased, and we should sue them.
I'll put Louis forward for the next Celebrity Traitors.
Yeah. I can't watch it. I can't watch another thing. Congratulations, Leeds, winning the PDRL Grand Finals this week.
Yes.
Now, it's a shame that that's not at, and I don't want to say this disrespectfully to Oral.
Yeah, I think it had to be moved because of the weather.
It's a shame it's not at, and wasn't last year, at a proper ground.
I think it was scheduled for Robin Park?
I don't know.
But it had to be moved to Oral. But yeah, won the League Leaders' Shield and the Grand Final. Beat Wakefield
last year's champions. Could be something that could be done before another match. I don't know. You could work the PDRL season so you could have that before one of the semi-finals in Super League or something, or whatever.
But it's safe to say from the pictures that I saw coming back that a great time was had by all.
So that's good. Leeds trophy in the cabinet.
Well,
that's all that matters, isn't it? 4 attempts this year, but they won one of them, which is more than some teams.
they might as well have a presentation night.
Go on. Up the Rhinos. There was something on the internationals. When's the Golden Boots announced?
I think the shortlist is later this week.
Just get on with it.
Well, long list, short list.
Yeah, but we already know what the wheelchair shortlist, because they didn't bother doing a longer one. It's a damning indictment on England in the non-wheelchair games, in the running games, that there's only one name on either list. Well done, Easy Row. There's more Nigerian players on the list than English.
Probably because they played more games.
Yeah. And again, that's not a criticism of Nigeria. That's a criticism, and not a criticism of our players.
Well, I think one of the big international results, obviously, there's loads of international, but the Nigerian women going to Canada to play in a tournament and beating Ireland, it just shows you the talent that is available.
And still people mud about the pitch. So we've got Nigeria versus Ireland, women in Canada. Let's mud about the pitch and the goalposts. I don't think you do.
We've got Canada playing Jamaica this weekend in a men's and an under-19s international, and then we've got Ghana and Nigeria women playing each other in a double game. So yeah, it still goes on.
Peace Lakura is playing rugby sevens, the other one. I saw that story. Yeah, she's playing for Uganda in the rugby union sevens. So we're building their sport as well, because they need the help these days. When Rugby 360 starts anyway, which of course it isn't going to start, but it doesn't stop everyone talking about it all the time. So the internationals were good. The thing is, it's always good. It always tends to be. I know some people will watch a game and it's rubbish and they go, rugby league is rubbish, but actually it tends to be all right, and if not all right, quite good.
I would still like to see more intensity in our domestic men's games.
Will that come from having less fixtures and better teams?
Yeah. I think that's how you build it. And it's not about the overall number of teams, because in the NRL clearly there are 17, so they have more than we do. But they play a fewer number of fixtures of a higher intensity.
Because we've been bribed by biscuits, it would have been funny if... bribed. If it would have been funny if Lord Kane's independent panel just said, no, we're going to have 15 instead of put London in as well. Could they have done that? I don't know.
Maybe the supporters group didn't send them Tim
Tams. No. Some comments.
Yes.
Great show, says David. I shouldn't have read that. Thomas says, Everton was a good stadium. It was. Oh, it's a bit high. Empty seats on TV is not a good look. I'll be looking at places like the Etihad or St James's Park over Wembley. I think Australia again in a few years, with the build-up, with a bit more lead time. Was it announced in March or something stupid? It was announced late.
Yeah, because I think originally it was obviously going to be over there. And
I know late sounds
protracted negotiations to bring it over here. Be very interesting to see what they do in 2028, because the plan now is to have the Ashes again in 28. And it was supposed to be over in Australia. I think because of the success of getting 132,000 people through the gates, the cultural enjoyment that the Aussies had, and we spoke enough about, they were the ones that interacted with the public rather than the England team. I think they would come back. So
and they want to play at Wembley, don't they?
I wouldn't be surprised if they... Well, I think it's not that they just want to play at Wembley. I think they want to test Wembley out as a venue for the global round that they're thinking of having. As we've said before, we now know that Origin is probably going to be taken out and sold separately, and it's going to go on the road. 27 is the first time outside of Australia. It'll be in New Zealand. I think at some point somebody's sitting in an office in NRL Central going, one day, 100,000 at Wembley. That's what we want. So I think, that it's again, the empty seats thing is interesting, because when you're there, and the whole of the bottom row is full, and for once the whole of the club Wembley
Yeah.
ring was full.
So they made the money on the corporates. That's the thing.
The bit that's empty is the bit that really, if the cameras dropped a little bit, you wouldn't actually see. So I think 60,000, the highest ever attendance for an Ashes game in this country. I think that is something you can build on.
Some people just don't like Wembley, and that's fine. It is what it is. But it has the transport links, which not
And the
every
expensive
stadium
car
does,
parks.
and the expensive car parks, and the non-expensive ones from the car wash people and other things, and food, and there you go. But it is indeed what it is. But it has been a success, and that the results were obviously rubbish from England, but the event as a whole, in general, was a success. And that's good because we need events, because events sell.
Well, it goes back to the World Club Challenge. But whilst people are thinking about, we might have a trip to Toulouse with our team this year, we might have a trip to Catalan this year. There's a game in Paris, which neutrals may well say, even Wigan Catalan, that's relatively accessible. It would be a great celebration of 30 years of Super League, 20 years of Catalan being in it. Maybe we'll go to there as well, and I do think it's the events that drive the sports, the events that excite broadcasters. How are we going to get more money out of a broadcaster when the next deal comes on? We give them events.
Paris is vaguely tempting. I'm not sure why.
June the 6th.
Yeah.
Easy to get to.
Maybe. I can't speak French. But
just don't drink outside of a cafe. If you're foreign, go inside. They find a reason to charge you more if you sit on the pavement.
I've watched the Lower Low. I know how it works. That's how the French people. That's how they still work, isn't it?
We found out the hard way.
The women's game. I don't know. Did you see the Sky Sports Halo furore over the weekend?
I didn't.
So Sky Sports, the worldwide leaders in stuff, set up a female-friendly TikTok channel.
What, mate?
Because obviously females, they think differently to males, and when they want to talk about sport, they think pink, because they like women like the colour pink. That's what we know, right? Pink.
Do we know that?
This is the thought process. They like vibes. They like memes, and they like matcha. I don't know what matcha is.
It's a tea.
Is it a tea?
Is it a form of tea?
They spill the matcha and talk about the hot girl summer. And there were no hotter girls this summer than Wigan, who won everything. There you go. You see.
Very good. So what was the halo effect?
Well, women said it's a bit patronising this, because
Yeah.
you think we're all talking about vibes and pink and matcha and stuff, and actually we just like sport.
We do understand the offside.
Yeah, because we're just men, but we've were at the front. So Wigan won everything, but weren't as far ahead as people have suggested, because Saints did run them close in terms of the League Leaders Shield, but not at Wembley, which is the spiritual home of Wigan, as we know. Spiritual home from the late 80s onwards. Before that, Widnes for a bit. Wakefield had it in the 60s. But it's their spiritual home, and they won the Women's Challenge Cup for the first time. Dennis Betts, greatest thing he's ever done and all this. And the emergence of all these young stars like Eva Hunter, deserving, not that anyone didn't deserve the awards they won, but you know what I mean. Woman of Steel and Grace Banks and this and that and the other, and Jennifer Ubister and everyone else who I've gotten zero.
The core of hopefully the England team moving forward
for the next World Cup.
So the question is,
yeah,
let's just say for argument's sake, Sean Wayne is no longer the England coach.
Should it be Dennis Betts?
Yeah. In 8 months' time, when the report finally, the week before,
which report?
The week before the World Cup.
We're still waiting for the strategic review.
Apparently, it's a work in progress. It's an ongoing piece of work.
Is that why they're able to move to 14 teams and
that's all part of it?
Make up TV things.
It's all part.
David's watching in Iraq.
Thank you.
It's where,
the number one podcast in Iraq.
It's where Saddam Hussein keeps his CDs, or used to do.
But the thing about that is a lot of candidates are being put forward as potential. And
you mean on websites that need to fill 5 people? James Vaughan.
I don't hear Dennis Betts' name mentioned a lot, and yet if it's effectively a part-time position, as
a motivational kind of thing,
would he be a good?
Why not?
Good candidate.
Why not?
I'm sure we're not the first to pose that question.
Might be.
But
I've not heard anyone else say it yet. Not that, mind you, I've
Just
muted
a-
everyone else. on
just a
Twitter
thought.
saying. Dennis Betts, England coach.
England men's coach,
England men's coach,
Wigan women's coach.
That's very progressive, isn't it?
Well,
Rugby
how good does that look?
Rugby league progressivism. Would he pick all the Australians that are almost English? Jasmine Strange, Ethan Strange,
If they can help the
Caleb
team,
Hamlin-Noella, who's New Zealand, but still.
pick them. If they can help,
Yeah.
if they can offer something we don't currently have.
Wigan won everything. Saints ran them close. Leeds are in transition-ish.
Well, there's more players leaving, and I think
They haven't announced anyone yet, have they? But not many people have. I was when the news came through this afternoon.
Did they announce somebody? I can't remember.
I can't remember. When Wigan announced they signed Kelsey Gentles today, it's very funny how all the pictures of Kelsey Gentles are in York kit. Remember when Huddersfield signed an England international? Do you remember way back when, in the midst of time, when Huddersfield Giants said they were going to pay their players, but only if they were England internationals?
Yeah.
So Kelsey Gentles has gone to Wigan.
Yeah.
She'll-
Without actually playing a game.
No, she played once.
She played one
once.
game.
She played once. Check this. Less than Shona Hoyle, we think, who was the other player who left Huddersfield after about a week. The problem is...
I mean, I admire some of Huddersfield's recruitment. I think they are going to be more competitive. They've got a new coach in Nathan Graham. So they clearly think are putting something behind their women's team, but maybe they're not at the moment able to attract.
They need more vibes. What they need is...
Are they biscuit vibes?
The biscuits. They need more biscuits. The owner of Huddersfield, excuse me, has just bought a stadium in Halifax. Is that right?
It's going through.
It's going through. Right. I understand that. I kind of understand. I don't really understand that. That's already got two teams playing there who don't like each
I think
other.
it's more to do with they can't pick up any more IMG points where they are. But if they own the stadium they play in, and they can get a greater proportion of the ground with fans in it, their IMG points would go up.
We're talking about this, but they might just scrap IMG points in the...
They're not going to scrap.
Are we having relegation next year? Excuse me.
Not been announced.
We don't know.
But I think there's been a little bit of a pushback from clubs that have done quite a lot under the IMG gradings to say, well, look, we have put money into things other than our first team, and if you now take that away, then yes, fine, we've got a better facility and a better match day experience and all that kind of thing, but why should we then suddenly be penalised when we've gone down that road when you're just going to move the goalposts?
If Keith, you're watching, get your paperwork done now. It's like the tax... I get an email like twice a month from HMRC saying, your tax return is coming up, don't forget to do your tax. Do it when you... Wait until January 31st, don't need to do it now. Don't forget your tax return. Don't do that with rugby league clubs, do they, and businesses and stuff? I assume not. I don't know. Unless I've got the wrong email for Salford, I don't know.
Who are still confident that they will have a team in the Championship
And a bridging loan
next year, and have got a fourth adjournment, but it's the point of no return is not far away.
But yes, to all the teams who aren't Wigan and St Helens and York and Leeds in the Women's Super League, and to that, I don't mean to say this about Barrow because they're different because they're in the Championship, as are Featherstone in their men's division. So it's different for them. But if you're a Super League side and you're in the Women's Super League and you're in the Men's Super League, then you probably should spend a little bit more money on your women's team if you want them to be more competitive, because we can't just rely on saying, oh, well, Jodie Cunningham, you're too good for St Helens now, you have to go play for Warrington or something like that. Can't do that. Because you're not going to do that. And we know
We
players
don't have a draft.
Yeah, we can. And we know players have been offered money and not left because they enjoy where they are.
It will change the one driving force of participation is the number of women and girls that are playing the game, which is masking, I think, the fall in the men's game a little bit when we talk about overall participation numbers. But that will at some point. I mean, the great thing about Huddersfield is their under-19s were really good this year. All the clubs that are running those development academy teams are seeing talent come through, and again, the more talent the more milk you push into the urn, the more cream will rise to the top.
I can say cheese at one more. The better quality of cheese, more. I don't know. Yogurt. Matt Ellis has spent a colossal amount of money due to AMG, says Andrew.
Yeah.
And now
so that's why I think there'd be a pushback against just saying, "Oh, well, we don't want IMG."
Built a cafe now.
Have they? Is that
it's not open yet.
On the front? Where
no, it's where the coach house used to be, in the corner, or whatever that else used to. It used to be called Cats for a bit, wasn't it? But for old people, the coach house is now the shop and cafe. But the cafe is not open yet. But
great.
Shop at the ground. New Awake not out yet. Looking forward to it. See what it's going to be. I don't know. Who's left to release their kit? Saints haven't yet.
But they've hinted it's something to do with 2006.
Oh.
When they won the treble.
And some other teams probably. Leeds have.
There'll be some.
I don't follow Bradford.
There'll be some teams playing in shirts.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be in skins.
No, unless they've been robbed by the Somali pirates coming from China.
In a Leeds car park.
Available now at your local car boot. The whole car Vegas kits. Have Leeds got a Vegas kit? They haven't announced it yet.
They will have.
They will have.
I'm sure they will have. Why wouldn't they?
Not a cafe, says Andrew. It's a bar and grill. See, we're poshing work for bar
really?
and grill. Not like Leeds with your cafe. Bar and grill. Open 7 days a week. Look at that.
7 days a week? Oh.
I know. It's going to be on Uber Eats.
Schedule a holiday. Delivery.
Well, apparently the Redbeck is closing down in Wakefield, which, again, this is a local reference for about 3 people. It's a motel on the way out on Doncaster Road that's been there forever and is open 24 hours a day, but they keep saying it's going to close down. It's the big consternation, the Wakefield Express Facebook group, along with foreigners. So if that closes down, that might be... Matt Ellis, business genius. Oh, get him on The Apprentice instead of Sir Alan Sugar. Lord Sugar.
Dragon's Den.
Lord Matt Ellis. What could we go on Dragon? We could send the RFL board on to Dragon's Den to get some money for the TV equipment for the 7th game that we're going to show on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch maybe. I don't know. We'll find out about that when the time comes. The wheelchair game, as we mentioned, Halifax dominating everything, winning the Challenge Cup final against London, the League Leaders Shield, and the Grand Final against London again, having lost the Grand Final last year to Leeds. Whatever they did wrong last year and Leeds did right, they righted against London in the final in Manchester, which was on the telly again. So these are 2 products, the women's game and products an awful word, but that's what they are, the women's game and the wheelchair game, who get TV coverage by Sky for the Grand Finals and the Challenge Cup by the BBC. What we do need is some kind of weekly highlights programme for both competitions and the championship, in fairness, as well, which we don't have. But, weekly now on the BBC, they're showing the Women's Rugby Union games at the same time as the men's internationals, which seems a bit odd.
I just don't think that anything other than the event style elite gets you money. I think if you can use that money to then cover the rest of your product elsewhere through, not money making avenues, it's content. And if the BBC want content, there's maybe a little bit they'll pay for it, or they'll want it as part of a bigger deal of something else. So, by the way, can we? But netball's a classic example of having a TV presence and it disappearing virtually overnight, now being virtually on YouTube, isn't it?
If the clubs, and this goes back to the women's and the wheelchairs, if the clubs produced footage which was broadcast quality, then we might be able to do something with it. Because, and this is where the NRL needs to step in with their own product, is because you can go on the BBC website on a morning, you'll have highlights from the baseball when it was the baseball season, there's highlights from the basketball all the time, and I don't really understand it because everyone seems to get double trebles and whatever, and I don't know what's going on. NFL, they don't have the ice hockey unless something disastrous happens, but those American sports have come here, they get the highlights free on the BBC, it's a free advert for them. Mr. Abdo, Mr. Volandis, send them over, and then everyone will be happy because we can see all the adverts for McDonald's and KFC on the pitch, and we can all watch Reece Walsh do some Reece Walsh things. So, if you're watching, they should be watching. They've got their magazine now, Mr. Volandis, he should be watching. Get your highlights on the BBC website. They won't pay for it. Doesn't matter. Free advert for your product. You want eyes on your product because you come in here.
As long as you're getting paid for the very top end of your product and you're getting paid what it's worth, and commensurately more than you're getting paid at the moment, then yes, everything else you can afford to have as a loss leader.
PNG coming in, Perth coming in. You'll need coaches, maybe from Super League. Players.
I think the fact that Volandis and then following on from that Nigel Wood did interviews with the BBC just shows you that if somebody like Dan Rowan is prepared to, he's the sports editor, he'll have a list of all the sports he needs to cover. Rugby League, very occasionally will come across his bows, but this Ashes series clearly did. Access to Volandis, great. Nigel Wood then does a follow-up from the England point of view, compare and contrast. Used to be an exam question. Compare and contrast the Industrial Revolution. But it just shows you that if you're playing at that elite level, and you're generating the kind of stories that you think are going to go way beyond whatever the traditional market is for rugby league, that's where the money is. Chase that money. Everything else, have a plan for building off the back of that.
Is it Ghost Story you think? Asked Mr. Fuzzle. No, it's the heater.
You can tell it's winter. The heater's on.
My feet are warm now. It's very nice.
Do you want me to move it?
No, it's fine. Is it heating up Jake Conner?
He's smiling.
I hope. Yes, he must be all right. There's no point making predictions for 2026 because people still might be signed and
that'll
stuff.
be the first show of next year.
And then we'll get it all wrong. And
we'll get it all wrong anyway.
Who's going to win everything? Is it going to be Wigan? Are they going to fight? Because obviously they started the season with all the trophies. Now they've only got one, and that's going to be gone by February because it's going to be either
They've
in
signed
Hull KR.
Ollie Wilson.
They have. Huddersfield are a strange thing, aren't they? Men and women. It's just a strange thing.
Ashton Golding released.
Yeah, I wonder where he'll end up. Well, I've got an idea where he will end up because it makes sense because there's teams in Super League coming into the competition who need quality players. So it could be any one of those three.
But you would have felt he would have gone on loan rather than be actually released.
Because he's actually good, isn't he? Still in lots of positions.
Well, I think he just needs to be given an established role in the team. But in terms of a kind of guy you'd want in a dressing room to bring the best out of everyone else, absolutely.
The Rugby League channel, says Andrew. 24/7 with documentaries, Super League, NRL, archives, and a show with fans in the audience. Well, we can't have fans anywhere.
Can't trust the fans.
I mean, we can have an audience in here, but I don't think we'd be allowed for health and safety reasons. We have got some chairs.
Get a few in.
I mean,
so they could throw rotten fruit.
Listen, what's on? I don't have Watch NRL, so what's on it? And they have all the stuff that's already made, don't they? Like the Mighty John stuff and stuff. Yeah. So we don't have that anymore. We don't have Sky don't make magazine programs anymore, do they? So
I think there's enough going on in the world of pod that you probably could commission a range of different programs.
You can watch 30 minutes of walking around the Heritage Quay thing. 30 minutes. It's worth
gold.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's in the magazine.
I'd love to know. I know I read that. I'd love to know who the woman with the hair is because that is such a great photo. But there's no name on it, so it could be anyone. Did post an advert today for Oldham. We're looking for contestants from Miss Oldham 1991.
Are they?
Yeah. So I don't know if they still are.
It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump, one of the judges.
In things what used to happen, what don't anymore. But well, we don't have Bernard Manning doing sports on dinners anymore because he's a bit busy these days. But the world has changed. Everything. There was I did a program from, I think it was Carlisle Batley from '85. And one of the points mentioned was in the leader column was about the viewership for the Great Britain New Zealand series, which was about 5 million or whatever. And someone said, well, now we're happy with 1 million. The world has changed instead of live TV. But also, this was a point where football, football, they were on strike. They weren't showing on TV. They weren't getting enough money from the BBC and the ITV. So they didn't have football on telly. What's happened now?
On the teleprint.
Yeah. Andrew says the Water Splash final is banned though. Would that be on all the time on this channel? Because it's one of the only games they've got. They're going to show it all the time. Were you at Headingley when Leeds beat Perpignan to be crowned European Club champions?
I remember watching it on. It was one of the first occasions we had colour television. Yeah. In fact, it was used as a vehicle to see if it was one of the first
Eddie
sports
Waring
events
said that in the programme.
That what would sport look like if it was in colour. I seem to have this vague notion, and again. That I watched it on telly and it was the excitement of seeing it in colour.
Can you imagine that?
John Axton scored 4 tries, I think, that day.
31-5. Bring that back. Bring back the European Club champ. I mean, we've already got it, really, but have a final. Catalans until it was in one half.
When they've got a 10-team conference, and we've got a 10-team conference.
We've got Albi and Carcassonne and Pier Donkeys and all them other teams. So it's exciting times.
I think it's interesting because off the field it has been a
tumultuous year.
Yeah, and I still don't think that enough people know the direction that we're going in. I think the people that are trying to negotiate the direction that we're going in, obviously there's still some work to do amongst themselves as to who is representative of the game. So I think there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. I think we've said during the year in trying to reflect it as best we can, there's a lot of jigsaw pieces and some of them fit together, but some of them seem to come from a different puzzle. And everyone's got the box with the pieces in, but someone's lost the lid.
There's no picture. We don't know
what the picture looks like. And we may have used that analogy at least 54 times this season, but it feels a bit like that. And I think that going on in the background, it could have undermined some of what's gone on, but I don't think it has. I think we're on the cusp of something that could be incredibly exciting, because I think we're at the point where the two major competitions in the game, one of which does have money and doesn't, the other doesn't. The side that has money wants some of the properties that the ones that doesn't have got, and the main one of that is the international game. So if Valand is already firing the first shot about we want to get to the point where we only have 19 games and standalone Origin and a bigger expanded international competition, how are you going to do that without some Northern Hemisphere involvement? So I think we are on the cusp of something exciting. How that plays out, I don't think any of us that aren't involved in those high level conversations can say at the moment. But it's interesting.
We never did find out why the coup did happen, did we? But never mind.
I think we did.
Well,
I think we know some of it.
I don't know what the Australian equivalent of a Batley or a Rochdale is. Maybe it's Wollongong or Dubbo or whatever. But do you reckon those people who think, oh, I'd love to see Wigan and Leeds play Sydney Roosters or whatever, like we get excited about seeing Brisbane Broncos.
I just think they're
apologies to St Helens fans.
It's different over there because clubs know where they sit in the pecking order and don't aspire to be something that either they can't or don't want to be. So if you're East Brisbane, you're there to win the Brisbane League, to try and represent maybe Queensland in the State Cup, and if possible find a couple of really good players that will go on and represent Brisbane East when they make their debut for Melbourne or whatever. And if Melbourne are having a really good time and have got a settled squad, Ryan Pappenhausen pops down and plays for Brisbane. So I think they know where they sit. I don't think they're wedded to we have to have a certain number of home matches. They've already announced that some of the games will be taken to Darwin and Perth. Obviously, before Perth come in, I think Souths again are playing over in Perth. They're not quite as wedded to the kind of things that we are, and it'd be interesting to see how that works in relation to the and if the competitions come closer together.
I do like getting emails from clubs that are signing players from the Queensland Cup. I don't know who these people are. I said I've spoken to at least one of them today. So we're all excited for the championship, which we don't know how it's going to pan out, and the NCL we don't know how it's going to pan out. We can't even get into that because we don't.
We didn't have people on that would tell us. I've read some stuff about it, and again, all it seems is it's change. It might be the right reason for change, but it's change without the consent of people who are being asked to change, and that's made it more fractious perhaps than it needs to be.
Can Bala break away again? Well, I don't understand how it all works.
Somebody did propose that on social media the other day.
Because it always seems to be a fractious. It's like the tectonic plates of rugby league, Bala and the RFL like this.
I just think everything will come from higher up and with money. I think if more money comes into the game at the top level, can be filtered down through the championship into the upper echelons of the community game, and then perhaps into a plan for developing the sport in schools through foundations, then it all starts with money. We'd all want every foundation to have a lot more development officers, but where is the money going to come from to pay them? So
the NRL, and this is what people might come to the World Cup next year, probably less so because it's in Australia, but when they see and understand why Samoa are challenging and Tonga are challenging, and the Cook Islands are involved in this, and Australia aren't quite as strong as they were, but they'll probably still win, and New Zealand, they're not quite as strong, but they're still going to be there. The seismic shift, again, to use the saying, it's a good job I did it A-level geography, isn't it? The seismic shift of things that have changed in the Australasia Oceania region, thanks to players playing for their heritage, and now those routes are open to. We talk about the young girls coming through over here, which will eventually become stars of the Women's Super League, and there's more of them. And now we've got more people who want to play for Samoa, or play for Tonga, or play for the Cook Islands, or play for Fiji and PNG, and not just play for New Zealand in rugby league, but not just play for the All Blacks.
Well, you'd also hope that has a spin-off over here, that we can get a better Scotland, Ireland, Wales team, because there are players of heritage that will come and play for them if the fixtures are deemed to be meaningful. So let's say we're building up to a Euro A, which obviously didn't happen this year because there were some World Cup qualifiers. If that Euro A, for example, was to have Wales, Scotland, Ireland, France, and occasionally maybe an England or a Lebanon, depending on whether they were playing touring teams or whatever, and you got to the point where Euro A was played every year and those nations knew they had at least those 3 games every year, and there was a cup at the end of it, and there was sufficient government funding behind wherever the venues were that they were being played, heritage players would come and play for Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and it would, as it has done in the Pacific, make a real difference very quickly.
And we also have to bang some pig-headed people together. Have we nearly finished? Nearly.
Who's asked that?
Brian Barwick. Let me reply and say yes. Have we...
Have a bit.
Right, so we've... Basically, this Ashes series, which is a cash grab for us, it's because we got the Aussies over, because we know that of all the nations playing rugby league, we can get them over.
It's a cash grab, but let's say it was underwritten by an owner of a Super League club.
But it's a positive thing. But the Aussies have come here, not quite out of charity. It's not quite RFL in need.
No, I think they realised, A, the commercial potential of it, B, that they weren't going to lose any money, and C, that their players could have a fantastic experience. And that was another of the things that Valandis said, that when there are competing attractions in the world of sport, how do you keep your players on board and involved in rugby league at the highest level? How does Reece Walsh not turn around and play for the All Blacks? Because he gets the chance to spend 3 weeks in England and he loves it. So, he gets the chance to go to Vegas when Brisbane played there. He gets the chance to play in a World Cup on his home soil and wherever it'll be in 2030. And I think all of that, the experience of the players, ties them into the game. And the Aussies can see the need to have more than just playing in Australia.
Now I need to rework my analogy, because what I was trying to say is we, England, us, England, great, Winston Churchill, Maggie Thatcher, need to have a more benevolent attitude to our slightly weaker cousins in France and Wales and potentially in the future Scotland, Ireland, and play them mid-season. Because even though England are going to win, it's important because it's a thing. But you
say England are going to win. That depends on the team that England picks. If they want to look at the emerging talent coming through, it's still England. Mm-hmm. If they want to look at they need to get a run out before a World Cup because they want to try some different combinations, that's fine. It's perfectly acceptable, even to beat other nations.
Ian's been on. It might be Nigel Lawson. He says, Phil, the drip down economy doesn't work. The rich clubs always want more. They do. Democracy doesn't work. Economics doesn't work. We need anarchy.
It only works if it's written into whatever the independent governance structure is, because it works in Australia. Because it's not the clubs that control the drip down, it's an independent commission. That's going to be where the battleground will come.
Is that it?
Well, the Tim Tams.
Where are the tanks on the lawns? That's where are the tanks on Nigel's lawns?
The London Broncos fan group Tim Tams are calling.
Yeah. So we'll be back with other things before Christmas. We'll have the Christmas special, which is going to have loads of guests on. It's going to
be so special, we don't know what it is.
No, it's going to have guests on and quizzes and biscuits.
What guests?
I don't know yet.
No, okay.
No. Steve Martin Street. He might come
He's
on.
doing his own Christmas special. Is anybody passing Leeds? You're welcome to come to the Christmas
yeah,
special.
We'll have to do that. I don't know how we can do that, but
Ooh,
we'll
I'm gonna have one of these.
What are these?
They're chewy caramel.
I thought they'd be like wrapped up individually, like penguins. Because
No, don't mention penguins.
Oh, they're not.
They don't like it. They don't like.
They don't like it.
They don't like it compared to penguins. These are Tim Tams. Trouble is, if it's chewy caramel, good night, everybody.
Yeah.
'Cause in a minute, I won't be able to speak.
So thank you for your support. I know our audience. You see, we could do this like on a Tuesday at 2 a.m. because all our audience, they're all over 65. It doesn't matter. You're not working. You haven't got jobs.
And we're all going to the toilet that time in the morning.
You can do this program whenever. So thank you very much for your attendance and support and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you, PNG. You've been great.
Yeah, and to all our flag people, we love you as well. And we'll see you back here before Christmas, and then we'll be back in the new year at some point on a Monday, because we're just wedded to this now. We're stuck doing it on a Monday at 6 o'clock. We can't help it. But buy the magazine and all those things, and we will. It's there, look. Oh, it's there. It's got Mike Lewis on the front. You remember him? If I put him next to Jake Connor, well, almost. So yeah, I'm gonna stop the stream, and we'll